fame and the law and how above these celebrities should be when it comes to the law and whether or not they should be made an example of. Or is it, as simple as in this instance, if this person wasn't famous and this occurred, would it even be as big of a deal as it has become? So there's a few different ways we can go with this, but the moral of the story is ASAP Rocky, who is with Rihanna. I don't think they're married. Are they married?
They are by common law.
Yeah, they're common law married. There you
some
go.
states recognize it.
No, for
common
real.
law marriage.
There it is. Common law married. They have two beautiful sons. But before those babies came into the picture, ASAP Rocky allegedly shot his friend ASAP Relly. So his former friend and accuser, Terrell Efron is his real name, he testified last week in court telling jurors that he and ASAP Rocky, whose real name is Rakeem Myers, met outside a hotel in LA in November of 2021. He said that the rapper pulled a gun on him during an argument, pointed down and shot the first shot, after which Relly felt his hand get hot, saying that a bullet grazed his left hand. So a lot of things are being thrown out here because there are lawyers and such that are alleging that this guy is basically bringing this even into the public sphere because of jealousy, lies, and greed, alleging that he fabricated parts of his claims for money, i.e., he's trying to get paid, and I think that essentially he's saying, we could have handled this without the lawyers involved, but because you didn't call my bluff, guess we're going to take this all the way to trial. And again, this happened a few years ago. In fact, it happened in 2021, as I mentioned before. He was actually arrested in April of 2022. And again, the shooting incident was November 21. He was arrested in April 22. So it took some time for this to even become a thing. When Jason and I were talking about it before the show started, he actually told me that he doesn't remember hearing about this. I remember hearing about it. I remember it being kind of thrown under the radar. I didn't hear about it when it happened. I heard about it when he was arrested. Because when they arrested him, it was like, the heck y'all arrested ASAP Rocky for? What did he do? You know what I mean? And then they started saying, oh, he shot someone back in November. And I remember even questioning at that time, why did it take until April for this to even become a thing?
That's a full year.
It's almost a year. I mean, come on. So, yeah. He was, oh my gosh, and this is exactly why I remember it. So he was arrested when he was coming back from Barbados with Rihanna. And that's why I remember this story so clearly, because they were on a little family vacay visiting her hometown, and they arrested him when they landed at LAX.
That kind of sound familiar.
Yeah, it was big when it happened. But again, the actual shooting itself, we didn't know about that until he was arrested, some months later. And so a judge determined in November of 2023, so this is 2 years after the shooting, about a year and a half after he was arrested, they determined that there was enough evidence for him to stand trial, and his trial was initially set for October, but it was pushed to January, and it now has officially begun. And Rihanna has been at court, basically, supporting him. And the photo that they drew of her is gorgeous, honey. I need that framed. But I want to know, do you feel as if this is something where, okay, people get into arguments, people get into disputes, it happens. Nobody died. And his friend took a long time to, bring it to the attention of the law, allegedly, because he was basically trying to blackmail ASAP Rocky. He was basically trying to say, I won't tell anyone you shot me, but you got to pay. And Rocky didn't want to pay. And so eventually he, unfortunately, was charged for that assault. And again, he was basically, they ambushed him, right? He was on vacation. He had no idea that this was going to happen. And then they said, did I say ambushed? I meant ambush.
Yeah.
So I was thinking bamboozled and ambush, but now I'm going to continue with that bambush. No, they bamboozled him completely because he had no idea. It kind of came out of nowhere. Him and Rihanna, they were happy and smiling and get off the plane at LAX, and then all of a sudden these cops came and they arrested him, right? And so I want to know, if an incident like this happens to a celebrity, do you think that celebrity needs to be made an example of? And the reason why I ask is because, unfortunately, stuff like this happens all the time. I don't think friends shoot friends all the time, But I think that arguments happen often where there is gunfire. Oftentimes there is an injury of some sort. They say he only like raised his hand. They said it wasn't like a big injury, but it was the fact that it happened at all. And now, of course, they're trying to charge him with assault with a semi-automatic firearm, 2 felony charges, that is. And he turned down a plea deal because he thinks that he's going to be able to get off and basically prove that this didn't happen. How do you feel about this particular celebrity being involved in this type of case? Do you think that it's possible for him to get off? And do you think that the law will maybe try to make an example out of him? Because I'm sorry, but if a rapper is shooting another rapper or friend or whoever he was to you at the time, I don't think that it bodes well with just like the messaging around rap and hip hop, especially right now with the Diddy's, the Jay-Z's, the et ceteras that are still happening. I'm curious, what are your initial thoughts in hearing about this case?
Well, at first I was shocked because I'm like, what in the world? This ASAP
Like
Rocky? Like,
he
I
he
don't
seems
really
so chill,
ASAP? What's going on right now?
right?
But no, I think that one, he didn't they say he shot at the floor?
Yeah.
I mean,
So that's why they're saying it could have been an accident. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and basically ASAP Rocky is saying you're gonna have to prove that I actually tried to shoot at you.
and that's gonna be tough to do. That's why, because he turned down, the plea was 180 days in jail.
Right.
That's all he would have had to done. Now he's facing 80 years. So I think that he's fairly confident that he's gonna get off because, bro, he shot at the floor. I mean, it may be a little bit of collateral damage. He may have, like I could understand where ASAP really coming from, but this seemed more like extortion to me. This seemed
I
more
agree.
like you said, like blackmail because it happened. You talking about in 2021? You don't say something until 2022, and now it's 2025, and you just finally get into the
Right.
man. So I don't know. I do think ASAP go get off.
You do.
Well, I was telling you before, this kind of reminded me of the Gunna and Thug situation.
Yep.
With everybody was claiming like Gunna snitched on Thug, and then we thought Gunna and Thug was cool, but then turns out they not cool. That's a whole nother situation.
Right.
But these two were ASAP Rocky and ASAP Rocky. I don't think the law care about whether or not they were friends. Like I get the moral aspect of it, and I understand that point. But the law don't care about them being friends. We got to just look at the facts, and the facts is he did shoot at the floor. If he tried to intentionally shoot at a friend, that don't matter. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, what if he intentionally tried to shoot? That matters. But you will never be able to prove whether or not he intentionally shot at him because he shot at the floor.
Right.
And I don't think he should be made an example of, because I don't think we should make examples out of just celebrities just because they more famous than everybody. At the end of the day, he is just a normal man.
Right.
So I don't think we should make an example and give him a harsher punishment just because he's more well known. I don't think that.
Right. No, I agree with you. The only reason why I don't know, it made me think twice about this one because again, just like with the content that you hear in rap and hip hop, and I hate the idea of, let's say if he did it. I hate the idea of him getting off because then, I'm sorry, I mean, there's going to be a song about this. There's going to be a song about it. The baby shot somebody in Walmart and he made a song about it, you know?
And it's double jeopardy, so I mean they can't retry him for this set case.
You feel me? So that's my only thing. I'm like, you're a father, you got kids, and hello, kids listen to your music still. Like I don't love the idea of basically, somebody being like, oh, well, ASAP Rocky did it and got away with it. Maybe I can't. Because kids think that way. You know what I'm saying? But that's if he did it. I don't want this to be true. I want to be very clear about that. But Jason, there's a plot twist because as you mentioned, he did turn down that plea deal. Now, what I'm reading in different sources, it says he faces up to 24 years in prison. You saw 80? Jeez, that's a lot of. Either way, he faces some years because he rejected that plea deal. But what his lawyer was saying, he argued that he actually wasn't even carrying a real gun. He said that it was a prop gun that he got from a music video set that is incapable of firing real bullets. And he argued that prosecutors lack evidence, including fingerprints and the gun from the alleged assault. But, of course, they're not going to have it. But anyway, on the first day of trial, they also played surveillance footage that shows ASAP Rocky drawing a gun, but then they played a separate clip that captures sound that appears to be gunshots, but neither clip directly captured the alleged shooting. So they don't have video of the actual shooting. They have a video of him drawing a gun, which his lawyer is saying was a prop gun from a music video. And then they have a video that has the sounds of a gun popping, but there's nothing that is showing the shooting.
Hey, I strongly believe that yeah, he will be walking away because without proof, without evidence, how are you able to prove it? Like, who's to say he didn't have a
Right.
prop gun? Who's to say that we don't know? So I think it's too much confusion.
Right. Now, ASAP Rocky and ASAP Rocky, no, it is not a coincidence. Yes, they are from the same ASAP mob group. And it's funny because when Jason and I were talking about it, it's like, who's ASAP Relly? And I remember when there were a bunch of ASAPs running around. I just didn't listen to ASAP Mob. Like, I was only ever really drawn to ASAP uh, Ferg, actually. I really like Ferg and then Rocky. But no one, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know none of them ASAPs.
And that's
Come on
okay
now.
because you know what, their time is coming past. But I think ASAP Rocky will always be relevant. A, because of Rihanna, let's be honest, and B, because he's a fashion killer. This man be at all the fashion weeks, and that's why it's so weird because ASAP Rocky, like he's. Okay, I'm not trying to be superficial here, so forgive me, but he's just like a beautiful chocolate man that I thought just be chilling. Like he's so handsome and he's so into fashion and he got Rihanna to settle down and have babies. Like I'm like, why are you shooting people, dog?
You can't judge a book by its cover, though, man.
Facts,
Come on
facts.
now.
No, you
they thought
can't.
Ted Bundy was a nice guy.
Oh my God. He was on dating shows and all types of things. You're right. But the thing about it is, do you feel, because Jason said that he thinks based on the lack of evidence, I should say, but then based on the facts, Jason is telling me that he feels like ASAP Rocky will get off. But my question to y'all, let's say he does get off, is it because he's a celebrity? Is it because of the facts that are in regards to the case? I want to know, do you think that celebrities get off easier, or does their fame make them a bigger target? Because as I mentioned when we first started this conversation, do we think that the judge is maybe going to try to make an example out of ASAP Rocky? You know what I mean? Because sure, this incident, no one died again. No one was seriously injured, but it was the fact that he had the firearm, the fact that he allegedly fired the firearm. And of course, that is assault. And the fact that his friend told on him. I mean, listen, he went to the feds and he said, this man shot me. He needs to be locked up. And I know that his lawyer is saying, it's extortion, as you mentioned, blackmail, like it's jealousy, all these different types of things. But the judge may still look at this as a perfect way to set an example because of the different issues that we have around the country when it comes to guns and when it comes to, just crime in general that they say stems from what the kids are hearing in music. And I personally don't think it's at that level the way it used to be. But I might be naive in saying that, Jason, because I like to believe that people at this point with social media and with us just like knowing celebrities on a different level, I'd like to think that kids understand that a lot of what they hear is just entertainment, but they're still kids. That's me in my adult brain wanting to believe that kids know it's just entertainment. The reality is they don't. Because when I was
this is so crazy because I was just having this conversation with my friends yesterday.
Oh, come on.
Because we were saying, I told them how we don't view celebrities the same anymore, as in like how me and my friends looked at, for example, like NBA players, LeBron and KD and Kobe. These dudes was like giants. We put these dudes, they near past human level. Like, are they even human? Like, I'm thinking like of The Rock, because I used to love, I still like wrestling, but just loving wrestling, The Rock, and then all these. Now we look at these celebrities, and I was telling them how we view them as normal people, but they reminded me, kids, however, look at streamers like Kai and like these other celebrities. They view them the same way still. We were talking from our brain right now, not placing us in our shoes when we were just 10, 11 years old.
Correct.
They still think 10, 11-year-olds think Kai and all of these rappers and stuff are like past human superstars.
Yeah.
So I think that we understand that. I don't know if the kids get it yet.
No, I agree with you. And thank you for saying that. And I love that you and your friends talk about that kind of stuff because it's true. And it's a good reminder for us as adults to like just basically like tell ourselves like what kids are seeing us do. They hold on to that and they're going to believe what they see. Think about it as an adult. Like I'm still learning that I can't judge a book by its cover, like you said earlier, but like literally, you can't judge a book by its cover because I can't tell you how many people I've like come across in my life where I'm like, oh, they seem rude or mean or whatever. And then comes to find out they're like socially awkward and they just don't know how to talk to people.
They're really the nicest people ever.
Nicest people ever. You know what I'm saying? So like, and that's my adult brain again, but I'm still learning that. And so to that point, I could definitely see an example being made out of because these kids are affected by what they read and what they hear and what they see. And unfortunately, if he gets off, I could see it becoming oh, he got off. Like he was able to shoot somebody and he walked away scot free. So let me go see if it could work out for me. And I'm not saying like kids like plot in that way, but I'm saying when they're like they put themselves in a situation basically, and then it's kind of like, well, other people got away with this, so I'll probably be fine. And it's like, no, you won't be fine because I do think that celebrities are tried differently than us normies out here walking around. And I do think that money, I think that fame, I think that power is extremely influential. And this happened in LA. I could see if this happened in, Timbuktu, Minnesota, you know what I'm saying? But like this happened in LA where celebrities are in and out of those swivel, court case door or courthouse doors. You know what I'm saying? It's a celebrity on Monday and then the celebrity back there on Tuesday. And my point is, I do think that they are just tried differently. I really do. And Rihanna was there. You think that judge gonna say he's guilty with Rihanna
Come
in the
on now.
audience?